We're back with HCS Weekly, your weekly destination for all things HCS. I'm your host, Shyway, and guys, I am excited. All right, we got two amazing guests today, and one of them, the first one, is a pro player. He's one of the best players in Halo, one of the deadliest men to pick up a sniper rifle. Unbelievable player. Welcome, Mikwen, to the stream.
How's it going?
How's it going, man? So happy to have you here. And I know you were saying that your sleep schedule is kind of messed up right now. Did I affect that at all? Are you doing okay, man?
I'll be good.
You
I'm
good?
used to like waking up at obscene hours that I shouldn't be waking up at, but used to it.
Yeah. Man, I'm pretty sure you like cracked open a Mountain Dew too, like immediately. Just get it going, the energy.
The only thing in the fridge.
You need the caffeine. Yeah, man, that's the ultimate gamer drink right there. I respect that. So let's.
I just need Code
Red. Yeah, Code Red would be perfect. Man, I want to get into this. There's so much to dig into with your history in Halo. You've been here for a long time, over 8 years. All right, I checked the Halo Esports Wiki. And with the first question here, let's find out how it all began. So, how did you get into Halo? When did you start competing? And what was that first experience competing like?
Well, Halo 1 came out, the Xbox and the Halo 1 came out at the same time, and my dad pulled me out of school. I would have been in first grade actually.
Mm-hmm.
And he pulled me out of school to hang out and have like a gaming day with him. And so him and I played awesome. Halo 1 all day, and then we would play it in the basement with like my cousins, because I have two cousins that are the same age as me, and my dad is a twin.
Right.
So my uncle and my dad are big gamers, and then my cousin Kyler is from my dad's twin brother, and then my aunt, their sister, has a cousin that is a little bit older than me. So it was three boys and then like two adult boys that would always play Halo 1. And my dad and my uncle would always beat me and whatever cousin I played with, and it would start to like annoy me. And I'm like, what, like 9 years old, 8 years old? So I'd start to play it a ton. Started playing Halo 1 like as much as possible, just until I could beat them, pretty much. And then I got kind of bored of Halo 1 because there was like no online or anything. So I started playing a lot of Warcraft 3, like Dota and those mods and stuff. And Halo 2 comes out. My dad pulls me out of school again, and I hated it. Like I was so bad at it because it was online.
You hated Halo 2? Oh, okay.
At first, I mean, I was a little kid, so like, yeah, I was a little kid, so like just losing, I was getting super frustrated, and I don't know why, but I just like kept playing it. I think out of frustration of being bad at it, even though like I hated it, and I kept playing. My dad started to notice that I was. Yeah, my dad started to notice that I like had kind of like a knack for it, and I'll never forget it because I didn't believe him, and I still like don't know why. Like I trusted his opinion. Well, I mean, I was a kid and it's my dad, so obviously it's like what dad says kind of goes. But he told me, he was like, one day video games will be a sport, so you need to take it now while you can.
Dude, your dad is goals, man. Your dad is so wise.
And I was like, no way. And then like a year later, we saw USA streaming MLG, like doing like the show, and I was like, wow, he was right. So he took me to my first tournament in 2006. I was 12 years old. There's actually a video of it on YouTube. I tweeted it out like a couple months ago, but if you search like Mikwen's first MLG event, you'll see me with like frosted tips and like a little bit longer hair, and I'm like super little and I have a really high voice. And I'm super shy. Like he puts the camera on me and I smack the camera away. And I got like 5th round FFA and lost and started crying. And ever since then, I've just stuck with it.
Wow, man. Okay, first of all, dude, like dad goals, holy crap. I wish that like my parents were so into gaming that they got me in from a young age like that. And the fact that you had to compete with your dad, and that kind of like, invigorated the passion for everything that you're doing. And it's like a hate it, but you love it type thing. You hate it because you can't figure out why you can't get better. And it's just, it drives you to continue to get better. And you realize it's actually an amazing game. I remember back when I was a kid, my dad picked up GoldenEye. And he had bought it for me, but he ended up playing it by himself a bit. I came on the game and he beat like 8 levels, and I was so happy just to know that my dad was like playing a video game. So that's exciting. The fact that your parents kind of got you into things, and your dad was right, man. Now esports is massive. Ninja was on the Ellen DeGeneres show just recently. It's like, it's crazy. It's blown up. So fast forward now. Yeah, exactly. He called it big time. And then fast forwarding, you have a hell of a history as a competitive player. Like I said, 8 years, you've accomplished a hell of a lot. And there's one thing that I noticed that was kind of funny and kind of interesting at the same time. There was a point in your career, and it was basically this point when you joined this roster called Turning Point. You were with Walshy, Best Man, and Ninja, and you guys won your first ever prize money. This is what Wikipedia says. Hopefully that's correct. But your first ever prize money of $2,000. And it made me think, was joining Turning Point a turning point in your career? Was there ever a point like that where you suddenly realized, like, hey, I want to do this for life. Hey, I want to be the best. I have the potential to be the best. And I'm going to, dedicate that time to that. Is there a point like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the first step up the hill. Like I was on GMM with like a couple good friends, and like we were always like pretty good, but like we'd float around like the top 20, top 16 range. And our best placing on GMM was like top 12 the event before I joined Turning Point, I think. And so it was like, yeah, we were good, and like we were like the top like AM kids. Like we obviously had like a pro seed and stuff, but like we were still like the top of like the AM scene. And Turning Point was when like I decided to try something new. We put together that team. We didn't have a pro seed. And the way that that team formed is funny because I had Chig over at my house, and I had a bunch of my friends over at my house, and we were doing like somewhat of a LAN, and Walshy heard about it through Kyle, and Walsh drove down because I live in Michigan. I'm only like 45 minutes from Walsh. And Walsh came down and was like watching me play and noticed that I was like pretty good. So that's how like me and Walsh got connected. And then Ninja and I were always like pretty good friends before Reach. Like we knew of each other, and then like during Reach, like we became pretty good friends because we went to all the same TLNs at the beginning of Reach when Mr. P invited all like the Reach kids out to help pretty much just to like help Tots and Instinct get better because like we had like a huge jump on them. So like my team got invited, VS got invited, which is like Ninja and his team, and then like I don't even remember the other team, but they were like kids that placed well at the Reach exhibition, and so we did all that. Me, Ninja, Walsh come together. Then we figure out a fourth, and it ended up being Best Man. And yeah, we played through AM, and we ended up placing top 8. We beat like a couple teams that I don't want to say that I didn't think that we could beat, but I wasn't like 100% confident against because normally I would just lose to them because I was kind of on that team that couldn't get through that. Yeah, I couldn't get through that barrier. And like we played really well. And then just as time went on with Turning Point, like I noticed I was always like really good, but like everyone always talked about like Ninja, obviously, because Tyler was like the star of Halo, and his stream was blowing up, and now he's just the star of the world. But outside that, he like in Halo, like so I was like always kind of in his shadow, and I give a lot of like respect to like Best Man and like Formal because those dudes back in Reach were always like telling me like, hey, you're really 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 good, and I know that you don't get the credit that you deserve, and that helped with like my confidence throughout Reach. And then I mostly started placing really well, and people started to notice that I was really good when I started teaming with Chig. I teamed with Chig for like 3 years, and I think our worst placing was like top 6. Like we were always really good together, and that's when like I noticed that I was actually like a player that could make a team and probably place top 4 no matter the players on it. That's when I got like that type of confidence.
Yeah, I think that Turning Point squad really paired you up with some of the best players, like Walshy coming in, and then from there, like from what I see on the wiki, like it's like every other team that you were with after that was just full of amazing, really well-known, talented players. And you're right, dude, you are actually really damn good at this game because I couldn't find like any point whatsoever where you had been like dropped from a roster. Have you ever been dropped from a roster before? Because it seemed like other players were dropped and you kind of just stuck with Chig from the same roster and carried it over to another player, or like the team dropped so you couldn't move on to the net. Like it just seems like you were always a solid player on your team and there was no reason to ever switch you off of that. Like I don't know, man. That's
I think I got dropped like by GMM once because I like made Elitist mad, and then we teamed the next tournament, so it didn't even like matter. But like overall, like the only time that like I felt like I was like dropped, but I wasn't really dropped. It was when APG and Hines left Chig and I after H2A to team with Formal and Ola.
okay.
That was the only time that I felt like that like we both kind of got dropped, but but like we didn't because like they went to a different org and they just decided to leave us. But yeah, I always found that if you found one other person on the team and you became really good friends with them and played well with them, your spot was probably pretty safe. So that's what I did. It was like Ninja for 2 years, and it was Chig for 3 years, and it was Ola for 2 years. Now it's APG probably, or is it Penguin, one of those two. I love this
Right.
team. Like I don't think that we have any issues when it comes to that. But
That's awesome. I want to talk about that team too, man. That actually leads me in because now we're at Halo 5, man, and you've had an amazing career in Halo 5. You've been basically on the top of the heap the entire time. One point, you actually were on the very top with Envious. You guys beat Optic Gaming in that fall season finals. You had Hook and Snipe Down and Ola on the team. That was an insane roster. And that was, I'd say, the peak. And then from there, you've been very close, but not quite back at the top again. Like you had Reciprocity, where you guys seem to average third and fourth place. And now you're on Renegades. And recently on Renegades, you guys won that 2K. You're looking hot right now. So, so do you guys? And actually, like, do you ever get tired of being so close to the top? Does that drive still continue? Do you still, have that same drive to be the best in the world? Or do you ever get tired of just being like so close, losing second place or third place?
I mean, yeah, that's part of the reason why the Reciprocity team broke up.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time that team was together, we never beat a top 4 team in
Right.
online play or LAN play. So like, I was like Zane and I were the ones that kind of sparked the discussion. Where like, hey, this team's like, we're good enough to be fourth. We're not good enough to go forward. It's like
Mm-hmm.
even when we got top 3, that was only because Splice Stellar had to go to the hospital. So Splice got second in their pool, Renegades got first, and we played Renegades instead
Mm-hmm.
for top 3. So we never beat we never beat like NV or Spice or Tox with that team. And we never, I mean, the closest we got was Worlds, obviously. But
Right.
outside that, like, we never did. So
Right.
I said I brought up the discussion, like, I think a change is necessary. Like, it could be me, it could be Penguin, it could be Eric, like, whatever the change is. Like, I just think that this team doesn't work. And that's kind
Yeah.
of how Reciprocity, that roster fell apart. And then
Mm-hmm.
Zane and I decided to just go and team with Zane and I wanted a team with Neptune. So like that's kind of what we did. But yeah, just in general, just like we like APG and I joke about it a lot because like we're like in a loop because if you go back and watch H2A, it's the same exact thing against Lethal. We lose like game
Yeah.
fives against him like 50-47,
Uh-huh.
50-48 every single time. And we're always leading at like the 35 kill mark and we end up losing the
Yeah.
game. It happened every time in H2A and it just happened last tournament against
You're
Ox.
stuck in the
So
same timeline, dude.
it's like a loop, yeah.
It
It's like a
won't end.
timeline. So like we joke about it. And
Yeah.
so I mean, it's frustrating, but like I always like have had the mindset where like looking back when I'm like 50 years old, like I'm not really gonna care that I got third, fourth. Like I'm gonna be happy that I got like I've never placed like I always placed like top 4. Like I never had
You
to
were
be
always on the
worried about
top.
placing
Yeah.
outside the top 4. Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
sure, like in the moment, like after we lose, I'm upset, but
Mm.
when I look back, like it's very easy to look back and be like, okay, it's still like, yeah, it's like I would love to have like the legacy that like some players have, but I've created my
Right.
own, and that's what it is, and I can look back on it at any moment and be like extremely happy about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, you've accomplished a lot, and I hope you're still creating that legacy, dude. I know you said you're 25, you're starting to feel old, but you're not old, man. I'm 26,
Nah.
and I'm still young. So stay young, man. You got more potential. I want to see that. So let's talk about last week's 2K as well, because like you guys have solidified your position as top 4 teams, top 4 once again, and you showcase you have what it takes to be number 1. So what do you think it'll take to get to number 1 with your current Renegades roster? And there was this one thing that I noticed online. So way back when you were teaming with Ninja and Chig on Liquid, you made this switch over to Envious, and there was this point where you said that you felt like you and Ninja you kind of clashed, and you had kind of the same role on your team on Liquid, and that was one of your reasons for switching over to Envious. So what do you think about this idea of roles on your Renegades roster? Does everybody on the team kind of have their own role, and do they all fit into that specific niche? How do they kind of match up?
Um. Well, a majority of that post on Beyond was because Ninja and I like wanna kind of like have the spotlight, and
Mhm.
not as much me. And I learned on Envy to kind of fall out of that role, but I love to have the sniper and I love to have the power weapons because I feel the most confident when they're in my
Yeah.
hand.
Mhm.
Um, so roles, I don't want to say it's like it's not like back like in Halo 3 when people would say like you have your Slayer, you have your objective
The
player, you have your
designated.
support
Yeah.
player, you have your support
Yeah.
Slayer. Uh, the best teams are teams of 4 people who can do anything. I mean,
Right.
that's
Flexible.
like you look at like the best players like Shotzi and Frosty, like those dudes do more objective than they get kills usually.
Mm.
But they also get a lot of kills. So
Yeah.
I just think if you put together a team where you have players who like, so for me, example, like I'm a really good player when I'm like kind of over someone's shoulder, looking over them and doing damage behind them as they push forward.
Okay.
So APG is like a really good teammate for me in
So
general
you're kind of
because
like a turret.
APG,
Kind of like the Royal 2 then maybe.
yeah, yeah, I'm a little bit
Yeah.
faster than that. Like I'm not afraid to like
I
do
like
what
it.
APG does, but
Yeah.
like so like APG is a good example. He's just kind of like a tank. Like he's gonna go,
Yeah,
he'll
he goes
push in.
in.
Yeah, he'll stay alive as long as possible. He'll take as much damage as he has to, and he'll do a lot of damage. And he might not get the kills, and he might not even
Mhm.
get the assists, but he's the reason why 3 kills happens a lot of the times. Penguin
Yeah.
does the same thing. Penguin does it in a much more like Ola-esque way though. APG will actually like run at you and just like make you like worry about him. Zane like does a really good job of living in situations that he normally does like shouldn't. So it's like
Mhm.
Ola-esque, you know. And Neptune is
Interesting.
just like young H5 kid like that doesn't play any certain way and just kind of like doesn't miss and no spawns and plays really well. So like, and I feel like that's really important to have in Halo 5 because like
You need that
you
one
look at every
kid that with the
roster.
crazy reaction.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's always the one
yeah,
kid.
that's just like it's like that does everything that everyone always complains about and calls them stupid and all this
Yeah.
stuff, but they're actually like they're playing Halo 5 the correct way. And
Yeah, they're doing all the crazy
um
technical shit that like nobody wants to pay
yeah,
attention to. And yeah.
exactly. So like
Yeah.
um yeah, having like that type of player is important. But yeah, at the end of the day, like roles, like you have players who excel in certain things, and you need to play to everybody's strengths, and that's like
Mhm.
the best rosters do that, right? Like, I mean, every
Yeah.
best roster, like all their players are able to play their strengths as often as possible, and
Yeah.
that's really where like the roles come in, is allowing each
Yeah.
person to do what they're best at as often as possible, and keeping them in their
So
comfort zone.
yeah, man. So flexibility is key. And I think you also raised a good point
Yeah,
about working with APG. I think duos are more important now than ever, having that kind of bait and switch mentality and somebody who, like you said, is the aggressor. And at the same time, you can work and play off of that. And he allows you to hit the best shots that you can hit. So I think that's really interesting. And I'm glad that you guys have that. You've got the perfect balance. You got the Neptune and you've got the solid roster players who can do everything they need to do to get those W's. So speaking of W's, man, let's check out. We're gonna throw a clip up here. We're gonna try a new format. We're gonna do like a little bit of like a threesome thing on the screen here, where we got the gameplay and then me and you, and we're gonna showcase some of last week's 2K, your best life, in my opinion, in last week's 2K, where you destroyed guys on talk. So let's take a look at that right now. I know Tony can cue it up. There we go. Get our live reaction here. Man picks up the sniper. See, your right stick click to aim, right?
yeah. Yep. I play recon. I'm like a default AO player.
Yeah, we're gonna save that for 1 second. I want to see your controller and everything. There's one point with the sniper where you get that crazy double, where that is so hard to pull off with right stick click. You got this. What? You're nuts, dude. What the hell? You're crazy. Like that gives me like hand tremors just thinking about clicking in that right stick that fast. You hit the guy with the
Shot
body.
didn't register. I was annoyed about that.
Really?
It
It
didn't
looked like he got
register.
the. I think it should have been a headshot.
I got a hit marker on the. I got a hit marker on the stream, but I didn't get a hit marker in game.
Really?
What? Yeah.
It's super weird.
Really weird.
Get the double. There's one point. Yeah, man, you were like all over at this game. You wanted the Rockets, and then you got the Rockets first. This part right here, I love the weight. See that weight right there? Like, he can't do anything in that position. Let him thrust and just like wait for the fifth shot, land it.
And right here, Emmanuel was in my ear. Like, get the frags, get the frags. So this is why I actually end up killing Royal too. Yeah, Hoax was in my ear to grab the frag grenades. So,
wow, and that's the advantage of a coach. That's actually huge. Yeah. Like, I thought that was just like your intelligence. You should. I was gonna say any other player would have kept running. Yeah.
I was feeling myself. I almost did it though.
Dude, I was like typing in the chat. I was like, "Holy crap, die!" Like this guy doesn't die.
I saw it. You're like, "Please die," and then I died, and you were like, "Thank God."
He won't die, man. What the heck? Yeah, that was crazy because
I was feeling myself for sure.
Challenge at no shields. You could tell you were so confident. You actually took his shield off too. If there was any player in range, that would have been a dead player right there. So he did insane damage. I didn't even realize that was a coach thing right there too. People always ask like, why is it important having coaches? That's one key moment right there. Where like you're not really thinking of grabbing nades, and then Hoax is like, grab the nades. That changed the entire play. Like Royal 2 was running away with his tail between his legs after you picked up those grenades. So that was crazy, man. So how are you doing this? Yeah, Hoax is a good coach. Yeah, I'm hoping I can get
Very
him on the
good.
show too, and talk about his mindset and his attitude towards to playing as well. I want to get some coaches on here. We're gonna have one coming up next as well, actually. So this is the moment in the stream where I'm calling this controller time. And one day in my fantasy future, I have a little song, and then and then we get to look at your controller. I want to know what controller you're playing on. I want to know what your setup is. You said you were playing on Recon. I've heard people say that you play as high as 6 sensitivity. Is that true? Is that a lie? Let me know what's up.
I'm on 3-2. I play 3-2. I've been on 3-2 for
I was hoping you played on 6.
like 3 months. There was like a good like month where I played 5-3, I think. 5-3, and I was liking it. But like the 2017 season, I was on 4-3 a good chunk of it, and then now that I've moved to kind of like a slower role, I moved to 3-2. So
Okay.
yeah, it's slow. It's like not as slow anymore. I don't know. It's weird. Once any sense that you get used to, you'll like it. You know what I mean? Once you adjust to it, it's fine.
3-2 is a slower sense. I guess you'd have to be really deliberate with like every movement on that right stick. Like you really got to peg it when you're, or like know what movement you need to make at the right time, right?
Which is how I shoot. I'm very I claw too, so I'm like very like my thumb's like this all the time.
So let's see that controller, because
it's just
I
very
can't
basic.
believe he showed me this before the interview. I cannot believe you're playing on a basic ass Xbox controller while everybody else is spending $200+ for a scuff controller, elite controller. Guys, this is proof right here. You want to be amazing at Halo? Learn how to claw. Ideally, learn how to claw from a very young age, because if you try clawing like me, like right now at 26, trying to claw the controller, I swear it's like carpal tunnel waiting to happen. Do you have any, like, does it hurt you at all playing like that?
No, so when I was a kid, my dad has a video from like an old like big ass like camera that was on like a VCR thing, and I'm playing the Jaguar with him. And I'm playing Wolfenstein, and I was probably like 3 years old, maybe. And you remember that Jaguar controller is like this thick, and I'm a little kid, and you see my hand on it like this. I'm literally holding the Jaguar controller with my fingers like
with
that.
A claw?
With the yeah.
Wow,
and I was like, wait, what? And then like I started playing like the Dreamcast, and I always held the Dreamcast like that. PlayStation 1, like I always held the controller like that. Yeah, like I've always held a controller like that. Yeah, it had like this like weird like memory card that went in and like had like animations on it, and like it was the first system that had online play and stuff, and and like so I've always held a controller like I don't know why. I think like in my head it was like I don't want to do this.
Can't see it.
So do this.
Or maybe
so like oh yeah, sorry. Like I didn't want to do this. So I in my head thought that was more efficient as a kid, and I guess I was right, because
I mean,
it's like what a lot of players wish they could do.
It's like naturally with your index just kind of naturally rested there, I guess. Right?
Yeah, so like I don't have like huge hands. Like my hands are pretty like normal. I'm not like I don't have APG hands. Or if you see APG hold his controller and his hands are like this. This is APG when he holds his controller.
Really? With the inside?
So that's no, so his hands are just huge, man. Like I don't know that he has alien hands. I'm here to make fun of APG. That's the only reason I'm here. But yeah, like if I want them next tournament, I'm gonna have them go on a zoom in on APG's hands so everybody can see. I mean, his fingers are literally like probably like that long. Like we were joking around in the yeah, we were joking around in the hotel room and we were doing like that hand thing. Do you remember that soccer player that did like this thing? And like, did you see that on Twitter?
I missed it.
Okay, well, like everyone was freaking out how he did it because it's like super weird, right? I can barely do it. And seeing APG try to bend his fingers to do this for 20 minutes was like one of the best moments of my life.
Oh my god, dude! Now I want to see that. Now that's all I'm going to care about the next tournament. I got to see APG's hands, dude. His like fingers like coming off the side of the controller.
It's crazy. You always see him with a towel because his hands get super sweaty. It's funny. He's a funny guy.
All right. We're gonna have to look into that. But that's crazy. Just the fact that there isn't really a specific method to the madness. It's kind of just what was comfortable for you, and that grew into your inevitable way that you hold the controller and how you play now. And it's hella convenient, man. Because Halo 5, as we know, like mechanically, there's so much going on. There's so many buttons you got to press, right? So you really need a claw, or you need paddles, or some way to hit those buttons fast. Or you're screwed basically. So let's dive even deeper then. So how do you practice? Do you have any kind of like a specific routine or schedule that you follow in your years of grinding and improving? Was there like a game type or a map or something that you practice on the most where you saw the most improvements? Are you still solo practicing or is it just kind of like scrims maintenance work? What do you think?
Uh, so now I like just scrim. I don't even like play before I scrim. uh, I just get
Just
into the
scrim.
scrim like not. I don't warm up and I just play the scrim like
Wow.
about 3 times a week.
Oh my
Um,
God.
throughout Halo 5, I mean, like I'm still only SR 146. I think I might be the lowest level pro.
Yeah. Your custom
I've
games are
always
crazy.
been.
You got
Well,
tons of
yeah,
custom games
from scrims and like I did a
from
lot of
scrim.
jump maps with Ola like the first year and stuff.
Okay.
So like first year I did a lot of jump maps and like played a lot of solo arena,
Mm,
and I don't want to say a lot. I played a little like a lot more than I normally do. Um,
mm,
and then it turned into on that Envy roster, like I pretty much only scrimmed. I would like play some like like fun stuff with Hook here and there, and then like Ola and I would sometimes play arena. Strongside and Rob came from 343 to do like our like worlds like video. I don't know if you remember that video they did of us for worlds, and
yeah.
like we were sitting there like after we did all like the filming and stuff, and we just got like food and we were hanging out, and I we scrimmed and I got like annihilated, dude. Like I had played so bad. I don't know if
Yeah.
I like was like I don't know. I still don't know to this day. And I played arena until like 9 o'clock in the morning with these dudes
Uh-huh.
like watching me like a good chunk of it inside, and like I'm just like raging, dude, like screaming inside. It, like Side said like it changes opinion
Entire
on me
grind?
because like dude, the whole time I was just like
This
I
sounds
called it my
like
tilt
perfect
grind.
Twitch content. I don't know why you're not
I
streaming
just
right now.
I mean,
The
if you go
tilt.
back and actually watch some of my streams, like those are
Yeah.
like my ultra tilt grinds, right?
Really? Just get mad the whole
Like
time.
I would get so mad I would stream, and
It's the
like
punishment.
like you
Just
hear me on
sucking.
my streams just like raging, dude. Like there's this clip of me where I just choke so bad, and
Uh-huh.
I'm just like I'm raging. Like it's super funny. Like if you go to my Twitch, you'll see it. And but yeah,
I'm
so
gonna have to
like
look this up. Yeah.
and but now like yeah, I don't really play to be honest. Like like if I do play, I play Warzone Assault, like 3 games of Warzone Assault, and I'm like done for the
Nice.
day.
You said I was gonna hate you when you talk about how you play this game, and you're right, dude. It's so annoying. You sounds like you do the bare minimum just to make sure you're. It's like, is everything working okay? You know, oh, it's good. All right, I'll
Yeah,
just continue to not play. And then when you find out you're not playing well, you do one tilt grind. It's like, okay, I gotta get
and then
mad and have at it, and then we're back at it again. I
yeah.
got the mojo back. Is that really it? There's no like key formula. It's kind of just like, you were, I think at one point when you were younger, you must have been so passionate, so invested in it, and now it's kind of just like maintenance and kind of keeping that
Yeah.
going, you know?
I'm trying to think of when I was a kid, like what I did too, because
Yeah.
like honestly, like how do I say this without like sounding like a douche? Uh,
Oh God.
I've always just been like very like I've always had a knack for Halo. Like
Uh-huh.
even like when I was like playing Halo 2 with like I met people online that I was playing with, and I was like a level like 29 in Slayer or something when that was good. And
Right.
like I was the kid that was going like 24 and like 20 in Slayer games. Like
Right.
I didn't have a brain, but I never like missed. Like I knew how to kill people. Like that was always something I was very good at. So just like
Right.
the only thing that I ever really had to work on was my like my thought process, like how to stay alive and like where to be and how to be there and that type of stuff. And the only way
Right.
to really do that is one to like if you can learn from watching, watch, and two like just actually play against better players and learn like okay, this spot sucks. I got annihilated here. Or like hey, this
Yeah.
spot's good because I got a lot of kills from there. And just basically through like repetition. I'm a very I learned Halo from repetition for sure. Like the more
Yeah.
I screw up, the better I get. And
Interesting. And you
which
you
is like a
recognize the
really
mistakes. I think that's big too, right? You
yeah.
must be recognizing where you're making those mistakes and fixing the mistakes, and that. So you must have a keen awareness on that, even if you don't fully realize. Like
I'm everyone I've always teamed with always says I'm like too self-aware. Cause like I get on
oh,
myself really hard. Like if I don't play well.
okay, right,
Um and like I can literally like tell you like the moments where like I blew it and stuff like instantly.
mm-hmm.
So Yeah, it's like a blessing and a burden because what'll happen is like if I am playing bad, if I go into like a slump, I slump for like a while because
Right, right.
I like get like really down on myself about it.
Mhm.
But like if I'm playing well, like I'm fine. I'm just like, and the majority, like 95% of the time, I'm playing well, so it's like whatever. But
Hold yourself to a high standard, though, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Too high of a
How
standard
do
sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it looks like it turned out all right for you. But
Yeah,
how do you play good players? You know what I mean? Like nowadays, it seems like it's hard to set up those kinds. If let's say you're like a new kid on the
yeah,
block and you think you're really good at the game, it's like how do you constantly challenge yourself by playing the best players? You'd have to, I guess, grind your way through matchmaking and like get up to that level where you're constantly matching against them, or what? Or FFAs used to be the way to make yourself known,
yeah. I
right?
mean, I got known through FFA. FFA was a good way. Um, Halo's always been weird, and like I actually, funny enough, yesterday I was looking at like some old conversations with like COD pros when I went over to COD, and like one of the
Mhm.
pros like tweeted like it's funny because like if we went to Halo, like no, they wouldn't give us like the time of day, and he was right. I mean, he's right. Like Halo players, pro players, even when like I was starting to make a come up, like Halo pro Halo players are very threatened. Like they've like
Yeah.
honestly like I mean if you'll notice it like if you listen to like streams and stuff like if a Halo player gets outshot, if someone calls them
Mhm.
bad or like anything, like the amount of like offense they take to it is like dude, it's just a video game. Like you're
Yeah.
good. Like getting outshot isn't a big deal. So like
Yeah. Yeah.
you won't see like pro Halo players like scrim or like play with people who aren't that great. Like the only person I can think of that like really like gets like the only people I can think of that got chances in Halo 5 there was a lot more, but like in the last year is Neptune. And the only reason why he did is because he was willing to bet money in 2v2s.
That's a big thing
And
too. I guess you got to be able
yeah.
to throw some money at it, right? You got to really believe in yourself to
Yeah.
the point where you're doing money matches, like Bound
Yeah.
in the 1v1s and stuff, right?
Yeah. Bound is known because like he's friends with a couple people who made it up and he's not afraid to bet money online. Um
Yeah, yeah.
so like but I don't want to tell people that's your way in because like
I know.
I
Yeah.
never had to do that. Like I just had to go to tournaments and like play well. And
Right.
it took a while, but over time people noticed like, hey, this kid's actually good, and then I got like an opportunity on a better team.
I think
Um,
also maybe investing in live streaming, like a way that people can directly watch your content and start to talk about you through that. Maybe, there's
yeah,
a couple different.
see, just live streaming is weird right now, just because like Halo 5's in kind of a
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
viewership, like
Understandable.
yeah, viewership situation isn't the best. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, it's hard, man. Like Halo's hard. Halo's really hard to break into because like no matter what you're doing, you're probably gonna get made fun of for doing it by the top players.
Yeah.
But like I was made fun of for
Yeah.
like years for like I can't even tell you. Just like some of the stuff that I was like, if I like ego challenged a pro when I was like a top 20 player and outshot them, like they would like send
Yeah.
me messages like
Yeah.
like trying to like say I'm bad and stuff, and I'm like, there's no way you're
Uh-huh.
this upset you got outshot. Like there's
You know
no
what?
way.
Think about it though. I think it's kind of different. Like if you think about COD versus Halo, the time to kill means everything, man. Because in COD,
Yeah,
like you can moto somebody down in 2 seconds, so it's not as much of like you got outskilled there. It could just be like he got first shot on you, he had his reticle position
timing.
properly, he got the jump, the timing, right? But in
Yeah,
Halo, you can reverse a situation where the other player has the
yeah,
advantage because of that time to kill, and then the result is you get embarrassed, and then you get teabagged, and they have to watch that happen. You know what I mean? There's so much more on the line, and it's like when you build up
yeah,
that skill and that prowess, you end up having this like ego connected to it. You like so much of your identity is based on how good you are at that game, and it crumbles when other people can take that away from you. I think that's why the payoff of grinding Halo is so amazing, but then at the same time, it's unapproachable for people because it is tough in that way. It's kind of like Gears too. The shoddy battles in Gears, the trash talking Gears is insane. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. You can
they
turn
don't
any
they
situation around. But like
exactly
they talk about the
yeah.
trash. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just like that was like always one of my biggest complaints with like Halo. Like I
Mm.
wish that players like cared more about growing the scene than like milking the scene. I guess is
Preach.
the like a good way to put it. And like
Yeah,
I mean I know I'm like not one to talk because like I've barely done like any content and stuff. But like at the end of the day, like
that's why you're here.
I've always
We're
been
gonna
like
make you
just
do
a
things.
competitor. Yeah, I've just always been like just a competitor. Like that's like what I
Yeah,
love to do. And
right.
like I like content is like I've tried it and I'm like not. I don't have like a passion for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like hard for me. Like if I'm not passionate about something, like I'm gonna really struggle to be good at it, and
Yeah, makes sense.
because I won't apply the things that are necessary for it. Um,
Mhm.
so it's like I wish that players who like I can tell are passionate about it, and I've seen them do it, and like they obviously love it, but like they give up on it because it's like Halo. You know, it's like Ninja's like the only
Mhm.
person that was ever passionate about it, stuck with it, and did good things with it. And
Yeah, yeah.
but like outside like content stuff, just like a lot of the other stuff, like helping grow the scene, just in terms of like there's players out there that are great that
Mhm.
could be better, and like I've always given people a lot of props, and like the straight ripping team that formed with Renegade, that happened because I told APG to pick up Renegade because I noticed that he was really good in AM Cubs. Neptune,
Right.
I got him on Renegades because I told APG that he was really good from 2v2s that I noticed. I
Mhm.
remember like hyping up Saiyan to some players. I remember tweeting in Halo 2 Anniversary when Shotzi was 12 years old. This kid's gonna be the next big thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
that turned out for
now
sure.
yeah, I wish I didn't tweet it, to be honest.
Yeah,
But
I know. I
it's
get
just
flack for
like
talking about Shotzi now too. Everybody's like, "Oh, Shyway loves Shotzi." It's like, man, I don't
I
know.
mean,
He's just a good player. I need
he's an
people to
incredible
talk
player.
about.
I
Yeah,
think he might be the best Halo player we've ever seen, to be
he's
honest.
pushing the meta so far. I'm relating this game to Smash Bros. Melee in terms of tech skill. Like he's every time I watch him play, he's doing
Yeah,
things that nobody else is doing. So I have to talk about it. It's not like I just love Shotzi. It's just I love the gameplay, dude.
yeah,
You know?
he's a freak. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He's a cheat code. His button settings are a cheat code. He's a cheat code.
Yeah. The way he plays with the left trigger to shoot, man, he's got no
Yeah,
no
if
extra
he wants to
pressure.
spring
The
bounce,
right hand, spring
that's all he
jump,
has to do.
spring
Right there.
bounce.
Or spring
Yeah,
jump,
yeah. He
whatever.
just
I say bounce, but
what's it?
that's all he has to do.
Yeah.
Boom. Just, he has to hold both the
Oh, he's using
buttons,
his index.
A and B.
He's clawing, right?
Well, yeah. It's he claws. So he
Yeah.
just holds A and B together and then just slides his finger and it
Yeah, yeah.
spring bounces every time. Spring jumps,
Yeah.
whatever. Spring bounce, spring jump. I've always said
No,
spring bounce.
whatever. It's just yeah, spring bounce. I mean, there's no true like. It's not like you look it up in a dictionary. It's like this is the way it is. You know what I mean? It's funny when
Yeah.
everybody's saying
Well,
spring jump and
Halo 4, everyone said spring bounce. So
really interesting.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
But
maybe
it
I'm
is a
just the guy who
spring
doesn't know
jump
anything.
now. No, it's spring jump
Yes.
now. People call it spring jumping in
Yeah.
Halo 5. Halo 4, we
Wait,
said spring bounce.
people were calling
So.
super jump, or like I'm calling it super jump, but people are calling it the bum jump when you combine those mechanics and you fly and clamber up.
Oh
I call
yeah.
it super jump. The bum jump, like why though? Like I don't want to call it. I can't have
But
an analytical video and call it the bum jump and have a straight
because
face.
super
That's
jumps
stupid.
forever stay in Halo 2. That's why.
Because super jump, yeah, you're right. The ultimate super jump
Yeah,
was Halo
yeah,
2, but it wasn't really a competitive thing. It was just like this is crazy,
yeah.
like yeah,
Matchmaking going on
okay.
top of Warlock.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Zanzibar, like flying like way up in the air in Zanzibar was
On top of
sick
the
too.
fan, yeah.
Yeah, I was on the fan.
So fun.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like I could talk to you for hours, but I know we're running short on time here. So let's really quickly let's talk about the future of Halo here. Let's build the best Halo Infinite multiplayer. What should the best Halo Infinite multiplayer have? Just a couple quick things. Like, what do you think about weapon starts? You like the Magnum? You think you should go back to BR or something else?
I like single shot weapons because they're more punishing than a burst
Mm,
weapon in terms of skill.
right.
I don't care if it's a pistol or if it's a DMR. I don't even care if the BR shoots 3 bullets that are like almost essentially a single shot. I do like single bullets. Honestly, I just want like I. It's such like a vague statement, but you look at Halo 1, you look at Halo 2, you look at Halo 3. Those games, I remember I was like looking at like a Bungie like Vidoc, like where they're talking about like their design philosophy, right?
Okay.
And like they're talking about how like the way they design their game, like they're the people who if they don't sit down and they're not entertained in 5 minutes, they put the game down and they never play it again. They're like those assholes, is what they say.
Oh,
And
okay.
like the next guy that it goes to says like he's like he's like the big thing with this game is that like you play for it 5 seconds. Like every 5 seconds, like something exciting is gonna happen. So you have to
Okay.
compress this like fun gameplay, over 7 minutes. And the only way like Halo 5 has that, but it's like 30-second intervals to be honest, or like 15
Uh,
second intervals where like the game's fun and then like there's kind of like nothing really going on, or like something that's really not that enjoyable going on for like 5 to 6 to 7 seconds, and then it's fun again
yeah.
for like a second or two, and then rinse repeat. And you look back at Halo 2 and Halo 3, like every 5 seconds something fun was happening. Something. It
Okay.
didn't matter what you were playing.
And
And
maybe because of the way the
like
maps were designed, the close quarters encounters that you might have.
I think it was map decisions. I think it was game type decisions. I think it was like
Me
mechanical
too. Okay.
decisions in terms of like
H2
how
for sure.
H2 and even Halo 3, how Halo 3 like they obviously with Halo 3 did not want you cross mapping. That was like their design philosophy was we want you to fight mid to close range in this game. Almost all
Interesting.
the weapons struggled to shoot across the map minus a sniper.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even the
Exactly.
farther you were, the sniper was less effective. They wanted
Uh-huh.
you to get into each other's faces and like punch each other or shoot each other super close and do like
Yeah.
like they wanted that. They didn't want this like standoffy like shoot cross map yada yada. And
Yeah.
Halo 5
Yeah.
struggles with that right now. I mean, if you notice like Halo 5's meta, a lot of Halo 5's meta is put 2 or 3 shots from a range and then move in quickly and then clean up what damage you did. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
I really want to see because I'm not the type of person that's going to say like we need classic or advanced or blah 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 like whatever. As long as the game it just has very good like design decisions around it and
Uh-huh.
plays like what Halo did. I mean, Halo started off as being called Combat Evolved. They obviously need to push the envelope in terms of like how to evolve what it is now. And I
Mhm.
don't have the answers for that. I don't think anybody has the answers for that. Um,
Right.
I just want the game to be when I sit down, I'm entertained for 90% of the game. And
Right.
I don't have like any way to say like
Damn it.
I don't think there's like one I don't think there's like
Nobody
one
knows.
answer. Yeah, I don't think that
Yeah.
there's like one answer. I think that that's the thing with Halo
Yeah.
is that it's in a very big identity crisis. And
Yeah.
343 is either going to have to go all the way back to the beginning or all the way like
The other
they have to do one
direction.
of the two. Yeah, and
Yeah.
either way they're going to upset people a
I was
lot.
hoping Infinite could be flexible. Like they somehow just have it all, and then like, you know what I mean? Like I was thinking if they had some kind of a
Yeah.
crazy Forge mode that's super easy to work your way around, and like anybody can build maps, and you just have like Forge builders building the best, most ideal maps for the game, like on a constant basis, and then pros can switch the settings and the bullet magnetism and like everything on the fly at any time, and like figure out the perfect balance of everything. But it does put a lot in our hands. I don't know where that leaves things, but
Yeah.
flexibility would be nice. I don't know.
It seems like 343 is falling into the out of the box game has to be the same as the competitive game, which is what like Treyarch's
Mhm.
doing right now with COD, and like just based off like what Mankey says on Twitter, where it's like it's important that this casuals play the same game as the pros.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And
And work
there's
towards
a
the same
whole other
thing.
argument there. So I don't think that we'll see like a lot of flexibility in the game, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Just that's my
Okay.
opinion. Um, I think I don't know. It's gonna be weird. Like I'm at the
Yeah.
point where when it comes to Halo, like I'm like very cautious with what I'm seeing and what I like, or like cautious. Like everyone's all hyped for like that teaser, and I'm just sitting here like, we'll
Yeah.
see. Like I
We'll
don't
see.
try to get like
Yeah.
excited and
Yeah.
like all that because you just never know. Like we don't know
Yeah.
what that game's like. We won't know for a while, I think.
I
And
think
once
we
we see more, we can give a better opinion.
Yeah, I think we brought up we had a quick discussion before the interview, and you brought up an important point about the skill floor being kind of high in
Yeah.
competitive Halo 5, right? Like Halo 5 actually mechanically is a pretty deep and competitive and like interesting game. It's just you have to spend a lot of time mastering those mechanics and figuring out how they integrate well with gameplay. And like a new player playing Halo with all the different buttons to sprint and to stabilize and everything, like it's kind of overwhelming for a new player to immediately jump in and to get the reins. Like it kind of almost needs that Fortnite effect where Fortnite is very easy to jump into. The skill floor is low enough that you can get into it and have fun, but the skill ceiling is so high. You look at the best players in the world, they're insanely technical, insanely
Yeah.
fast. So they need to maintain that. So I think advanced mechanics works, but you have to somehow lower that skill floor so it's approachable, but still have like this just, like not infinite, but just insane amount of depth that comes out of these core mechanics. And I mean, I'm seeing it. I think that it pays off if you put in the grind time, but you know what I mean? You should be able
Yeah,
to experience that fun as quickly as possible.
yeah. The average person can't do the hours
You don't
that's
have that
required
attention
to be good
span.
at Halo 5. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly. That's it.
and
Yeah.
especially at this point in the game, like can you imagine like picking up Halo 5
Yeah.
for the first time and some kid just like slide thrust Spartan charges you in the face or like let's say
Whatever.
slide
Sprint
thrust or
thrust,
whatever. Yeah,
stabilize.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever crazy thing you can do in this game. just
Yeah,
Spartan
yeah,
charges
yeah.
you in the face and knocks you back, and I can only imagine like some 40-year-old guy picks up Halo 5, like, oh, I'm gonna try Halo 5 today, and
Yeah,
just
fuck.
what he's seen, it's like, oh my god, I can only imagine. It's like probably like hell. It's like all
Yeah,
hell broke loose, especially if like you're used to like Call of Duty or like games that are slower, and it's just like you
yeah,
see this, and it's just wild to me that like, yeah, and that was another thing with Halo 5 is like the floor was like super high, but the ceiling wasn't incredibly high either. Like once you mastered it, once you got the floor, like you only had to get to a certain point with the ceiling, and it was like, okay, well, the only player that's pushed like the envelope on the ceiling is Shotzi, but everybody else sits around the same place on the with the ceiling.
yeah.
Frosty, Frosty pushed the ceiling forward, and he's kind of sat at like the top of that. Shotzi's going above what
Right.
Frosty did.
You're right.
Everyone
You're
had to
right.
catch
Yeah.
up to Frosty, and now people are trying to catch up to Shotzi, but I don't think anybody will catch up to him just because like he came in pretty
And
late.
it's late.
But
Yeah.
it's like outside of that, like I mean, once you got the floor of the game, like you pretty much had the game like figured out. Like that was the
Mm,
issue.
that's interesting.
Once you like figured out how to play, like you've known how to do all the same stuff as me by playing the game.
Mm,
You know how to
right.
slide thrust, you know how to thrust slide, you know how to Spartan charge, you know
Yeah.
how to do like to reset your sprint, you know how to keep your momentum. Like you know how to do all these little like micro movements that like not a lot of people that wouldn't know unless they played for a lot. And I watch arena
Right. Right.
players, they all know the same thing. The thing that separates pros is that one, they're probably just a little bit more individually talented, and two, they actually get better practice. They know how to play
Right.
better.
Right. Right.
And yeah, it's just like frustrating to like see this game that's so hard to get into, but it's not that hard to like you can't like
Mm,
master it, you know, as much as like other games. Where like you look at like
mm.
CS, or CS doesn't count. That game's hard as shit. But like you look at other games
That's a whole other
and like
piece.
yeah, that's a whole other beast. But like, you look at other games, like they're easily digestible from the start. They're easily like
Yeah.
understandable from the
Yeah.
start. Like you can jump
Yeah.
in, you can shoot your gun and probably get a kill or two. Halo 5,
See,
it's
and
like I
yeah.
have to jump, I have to sprint, I have to thrust, I have to Spartan
When
charge,
do
I
I
have to
have to
ground pound.
thrust? And yeah, all
Yeah,
this
it's like,
shit.
and I can't get any kills. Like, I can't imagine like how overwhelming that is. Like, can you imagine like
Yeah.
jumping into Halo 5 and just feeling worthless? Because that's probably what it's like
That's
if you
how I
jump into the
felt
game
for
for the
about a
first time.
year, dude. I
Yeah,
swear I was about to cry grinding that game, but the payoff was great when I finally figured out everything worked.
yeah,
And I'm still
and
grinding and trying to figure that out. But I that's yeah, man. And that's the inspiration for my content, though. Honestly, is like
yeah,
because of that high skill floor, I feel like there needs to be people that bridge the gap between the new players and that skill floor and helps
yeah,
them understand the exciting things that are in Halo 5 and how you can get past that bridge. And once you do, you start to like the game. But yeah, man, too little too late, or like the attention span of kids these days, like you got
yeah.
to get in and it's got to be fun from the
Dude,
get-go, right?
exactly. It's
Yeah.
it's it's exactly like that Bungie documentary. It's the making of Halo 2.
Yeah.
It's like one of the best things I've ever seen. What
Yeah.
Jason Jones says right there is perfect. He's like, we are that crowd that if the game doesn't entertain us in 5 minutes, we put it down and we never touch it again. And
Yeah.
like that's an important thing to have in the game world. Like if your game isn't entertaining right away, people aren't going to play it. Especially
Yeah.
today. It probably has to be
Exactly.
entertaining in the first minute today for people to be like, okay, this is fun. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just low skill floor for Halo Infinite, high skill ceiling, and just make it enjoyable. I don't even care like what's in it. Just like I'm past the point of like trying to push like my ideas onto Halo.
Mhm.
I just want the game to be fun. I love Halo.
Yeah.
I will always enjoy Halo. That's a big part of my
Awesome.
life. I just want the game to be fun. That's all I care about.
Yeah, man. And we can all pray that Infinite is amazing from the get-go. Okay, so Tony, I know you're in the background. I know that we're like almost an hour in here. I have two more questions. I want to ask them. I honestly don't care if this show goes on 2 hours. I don't know if we have some sort of special schedule that we're running on, Tony, but like I'll just keep going. Let's go. Tony says let's go. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the COD effect right now because the entire Halo community is transporting themselves over to COD right now. That's what it seems like, at
Yeah.
least. Recently, even you've talked about Black Ops 4, and it seems that you like the game. What do you think of this new COD title? What's your mindset on the switch that everybody's making? Are you thinking of that at all? What's going on?
I think I'm gonna go to Vegas for fun with like Penguin and APG and like someone else, and just kind of
Like an upcoming
enjoy
COD event?
myself. Yeah, and just like kind of enjoy
Yeah.
myself. I did the whole COD rodeo from Black Ops 2 to Ghost. I climbed my way up, and I was teaming with players who were pretty good, who are actually like kind of at the top of the game now,
Mm,
and I quit. So like I kind of already blew that chance, I think.
mm,
I'm 25. By the time I restart and make connections and get back to a point where it's like manageable, I'll be on my way out, to be honest. So
Yeah.
I would need to like get a huge break and get on a really good team right away with a pretty good salary to make it like somewhat justifiable for me.
Mhm.
Um, but the game is incredible. Like the kill times are fun. The pace of the game is
Yeah.
awesome. The
It's
kill
fast
time, like
paced. Yeah.
the kill times are it's awesome. Like it's not too fast, it's not too slow. The guns all
Right.
feel really good. The colors are very vibrant. It's a very like visually
Right.
appealing game. I get into
They
the
seem to have
game
a
and it's
mix
like,
of
oh,
old and new maps too. Like I've seen
yeah, they
some old
brought back a
maps
lot
too.
of maps and like upscaled them and made them a little bit more colorful than they were in their past iterations. And
Yeah.
like the water's super blue, and then like some maps have like really lush greens. It's just like it's a very
Game
from an
pops.
art, yeah, it pops. Like it makes you like Fortnite does a good job of that. Fortnite's a very
Yeah.
colorful game, very visually
Yeah.
appealing.
Yeah.
I think Treyarch saw that games were moving towards that direction and did a good job with their art to make sure that
Yeah.
these games looked like this game looked visually appealing, but not like being too like demanding on like the game. Like I don't
Mhm.
really get like any FPS drops, and like I don't see like over artistic like situations in the game. It's just like, well, it's just colorful. Um,
Yeah.
the game types are a little meh. Hardpoint plays a little weird, but like the game is like at its core, it's fun. Goes back to what we
Mhm.
were just talking about. If you make a game fun from the
Exactly.
start, it's probably going to be able
Yeah.
to grow into something better. And
Yeah. Yeah.
like game types or whatever right now, some of the maps are a little iffy. Um, some of the guns are a little strong, some of the guns are a little weak. That's all stuff that can be easily fixed. You can't fix the game not being fun. The game is actually extremely fun. Like if I get bored of
Yeah.
pubs, I can go play Blackout. If I get bored of Blackout, I can go play zombies. If I get bored of zombies, I can
Something to
go back
jump
to
into.
pubs. There's
Yeah.
always
Yeah. Yeah.
the first night I was playing it, I was just sitting there and I was like, there's no way to get bored of this game. There's actually like no way to get bored. There's like because if you get
God
bored of
damn
one
it.
thing, you have a whole new experience. You get bored of that experience, you
Yeah.
go to a new experience. Um,
Yeah.
so it's like it does not surprise me for one because they're seen as like outside of like their competitive like inside their competitive scene. It does not surprise me that pro Halo players are attracted to the idea of switching. Um,
Yeah.
for Splice Halo, it makes a ton of sense. They got signed to a multi-game contract. Um,
That's
they're,
crazy. That's crazy news. I
yeah,
haven't
no,
seen that.
it's awesome for them. Frosty makes sense. He's a two-time world champ. He has a lot of clout. He was
Is he
able to get
still
on a
on
pretty good
talks
team.
though? What's happening? Like, is he gone or is he going to be at Atlanta? Do you know?
He is going to Atlanta. I don't think they're playing in any more 2Ks, and I think that
Right.
they're only going to scrim, and that's going to be like their practice. So
Right.
I'm not sure. That's just kind of what I've like heard from people.
Uh,
Um, but like he got on E6. They're like top 16 kids. He's like it makes
yeah.
sense for the like it makes sense to me for those 4 players, 5 players with Shotzi whenever he comes around because Shotzi absolutely when he's 18 will probably end up going to Call of Duty unless Infinite's
Right. He's
active.
already kind of playing the control scheme too, like with the left
He's
stick click
really good
to
at COD.
sprint and stuff. Yeah.
From what I heard, like he started playing Call of Duty and got into Halo
Really.
as like for
Okay.
like fun. Like he's always played both. Like I was talking to some like COD pros and they were saying at the beginning of Infinite Warfare, Ant was like playing like tournaments and was annihilating them, and they couldn't believe how
Jeez,
good he
man.
was.
I'm
So he's just a
jealous.
freak. He's just a freak.
Yeah.
Um,
God damn it.
but yeah,
Got to get
it's
him on this
like
show too.
yeah, it's it's a fun game. I have nothing but positive things to say about it. There's a lot of issues in it still, but it's like it's stuff that will be fixed because it's not like the biggest problem. Like custom games are a little buggy. A couple of the spawns are a
Yeah.
little wonky. A couple guns don't operate well, and a couple like operate too well. And those are
Yeah.
minor issues. Those are quick fixes, stuff that
Right.
Treyarch will tune and make perfect.
Yeah, and mechanically, it seems to be like not too much, but just enough to have some depth to it. Like the grappling hook is
Yeah.
interesting. You can jump out of it mid grapple, and you can propel yourself across the map farther. You can get to like vertical height advantage pretty fast too. Like
Mhm.
some of the stuff that I've been seeing with the grappling hook is pretty sick. You got the slide and the slide jumps and stuff, and those were things that I think World at War was kind of lacking. I think it was like too far
Yes.
back to bare bones, and I got bored of it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's what I
So
said when I played the beta. Is I think it's a really good middle ground. It's like
yeah,
the
yeah.
slide is really strong and like the speed of the game is really good and like mantling like actually it's funny because like in Black Ops 4 you can do a lot of like the stuff that Halo players do where they're like clamber up and back up and clamber again and
Can you
challenge
do that? I
outside of that.
tried that for like a good
You can
10
do it.
minutes, but it's not,
You can
it's
do it.
way
You
harder
can do it with dexterity. You can do it with the perk dexterity
with
makes you mantle
dexterity.
faster.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
You need a
so
perk for the, all
yeah,
right. These are the
yeah.
things I got to
So
look into.
yeah, so like you can
Yeah.
do stuff like that. And that is like again, like it goes back to like the floor isn't too hard to get into. Like that's not stuff that you have to learn to compete. But it's
Exactly.
what's gonna be separates. It's gonna be what separates like the top players from other
Yes.
top players.
Yeah, so I think we need a lot of that in Halo. Honestly, I hope that
Yeah.
the blow up. I hope COD blows up, guys. You know, because I think that it'll only set a precedent for console gamers. Like even the competitive stream is still, or the competitive scene is still going to be on console with PlayStation. At the same time, I'm hoping that it helps 343 recognize the opportunity they have here to just continue to put resources into hopefully Halo 5 and into Halo in general, and have like a huge
Yeah.
launch with Halo Infinite. And like it also shows you that as long as the streamers are playing it, like you can have a massive game that's massively successful. You just got to get players like Ninja and Shroud and them to jump on and have it on PC and whatnot, and then
Yeah,
all of a sudden
that's
Halo's a
what
thing again. You know what I
that's
mean?
what
Like it'll kind of swing right back around.
like Halo 5, I remember the first year of it, like Summit was streaming it fairly consistently. And like
Uh,
Summit says on his stream all the time, like I'm pretty good friends with Summit, like, and he always says on his stream, like, or like we'll be playing something and he'll say to me, he's like, God, I just wish there was a good Halo on PC. He would literally
yeah,
make it his main game. Like if Halo was on
yeah,
PC and enjoyable, he would play it every day.
yeah,
And like
exactly.
that's a huge resource that like could absolutely be tapped into, and I just need to see that happen because like I know Ninja has like his like issues with 343 and Halo, and like
Come
always
on.
been he's always been
Yeah,
vocal about it. He has every right to be. Um,
yeah.
but I know when Infinite comes out and there's a little bit of hype behind it, I know
There's
Tyler.
no way he's not gonna play
He's
it.
gonna
Yeah,
hop
there's no
on.
way.
He's gonna hop
Yeah,
on, and he's gonna want to play it. So it's like
yeah.
like we have a lot of like good things for Infinite that could come around, but we also
Foundation's
have
there
like
for Halo. Yeah,
but we have a lot of like things that like Halo's a very judgmental community. If the game's not
yeah,
what they want, like they'll immediately start to shit on it. And like that's the
yeah.
bad thing. If the game's not what Ninja wants and Ninja gets on stream to 100K people and starts bashing it, like
Oh
it's gonna be
god.
bad.
And everybody's
And
gonna agree with him too. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So it's like
yeah.
they
Create an
they have
army.
to. It's carpe diem, man. They have to seize the moment. This is a good moment for Halo. This is probably the best situation that it's been in. They're taking a big break. They're letting everybody kind of mentally reset. They're letting the community kind of like actually kind of fiend for a Halo game for the first time in a while.
That's an
And then
interesting outlook on things. I didn't even consider that.
yeah,
People are
they
missing
just need
Halo right now.
yeah, and like they need to seize the moment. Like they
Yeah.
need to make a game that is good and fun. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter if it's classic or advanced or has all this crazy shit in it. It just needs to be fun. Like it's
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if it's fun, people are going to play it and stream it. If it's fun to play and fun to watch, it's going to do well.
Okay.
It's that easy. It's not that easy. It's yeah easy. It's easily
It's not
said,
easy.
but
It's
not
very
easily done.
difficult, but yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's easily
we can
said,
all
not easily
pray.
done. Yeah,
Yeah, and I hope that you're going to be there. I know you will, and I'm going to do everything in my power to help that transition be the best transition possible into the next Halo, and that the community thrives as a result. But yeah, all we're doing is waiting and twiddling our thumbs, man. I hope they have a big event coming up because I heard there's an Xbox event coming up at the end of the year. But
yeah. Sketch already said on Twitter that they don't have anything planned for the expo though.
God damn it! Don't tell me
Yeah.
that.
I don't think
All
we're
right.
gonna see much until like middle of next year. I think we'll see more
Yeah.
at E3. That's my guess. If I was a betting man.
Okay. God damn, that's so far away. I can't wait that long. All right.
It's making
So
people miss it and beat it though.
yeah. So that's everything pretty much that I wanted to cover. But I have this one question, this final question here, and is what is it about beanies that I'm missing out on here, dude? It looks like, is this like your trademark headwear? I rarely see you without it. You're always wearing a beanie. Is there like an optimal reason for it? Is it like the pressure of the beanie on your head is like allowing you to focus better or something? So like, is there a deeper meaning? Why the beanies?
I think it's like a social anxiety thing, to be honest. Like
What?
it's really weird. But yeah, like when I was like 16, I had like really, really long hair. I was like 15, 14, 15, 16. I had like
You
really,
got the
really long hair.
Ola locks though. You got the long pistola, and he lets it
And
rock, man.
yeah, and I just like always like had that hair and then I cut it and I was like really weird about it and I started wearing a beanie. And
Mhm.
like the best way to explain it is like if I go out without this on, like I literally feel naked. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a social anxiety thing. I think it's like some people get a dog for their social anxiety. Some people have other things that help them with their social anxiety. I just wear a beanie. Luckily, it's stylish and
That's
not a lot of
interesting.
people like worry about it. But um, yeah, I can like go without it for a few hours. Like if I have to do like something formal, like I won't wear it.
I can go without it for a few hours
But like
before you are like
yeah, but like
seizing.
But yeah, no, I'll actually like start to like get really bad anxiety if I don't wear it. It's really
Oh, dude.
it's really odd. It's luckily
Yeah.
like it helps with that though. So like, some
Uh-huh.
people like can't deal with it and like anxiety crippling. Like I put on a beanie and I feel better. Like it's pretty nice actually that's like
That's
the
yeah.
least of my problems. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a comfort thing. Like I enjoy wearing it in terms of like it's comfortable. Like I'm on stage, I enjoy wearing it with like the headphones. I enjoy like it's all a comfort
Yeah.
thing mostly.
Okay.
Comfort in life. Like it's very weird, but yeah, that's just something unique about me, I guess.
Well, I mean, when you're at your most comfortable, you're at your most confident. Honestly, dude, I can directly relate with you. I do the same thing. This on my hands, these two rings on my index fingers, my
Yeah,
watch and my bracelet. If I don't have this on when I leave the house, I feel naked. It's the same type of thing.
yeah,
I didn't think of it as like a social anxiety thing, but like I honestly think about it actively. I feel like I can't be myself in my confident way. Like you'll
yeah,
never see me in a YouTube video without my watch and my rings on. So I
yeah.
can relate to you there. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Uh,
maybe social anxiety isn't the right word, but just like social comfort,
Well,
like just
maybe I'm just
feeling.
afraid to say that. Maybe it is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I just don't
maybe,
want to put
maybe,
myself and say
yeah,
like I have social
yeah,
anxiety.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I think everybody has
yeah.
social anxiety. Honestly,
We
shit
all have
is
a bit, right?
it's
Yeah.
exhausting and scary sometimes. But yeah, like
Welcome to
I just
2018. Yeah,
I was like 16 and I just started wearing it. I just noticed like I was always like more comfortable and confident. So like
yeah.
without it, like if I wake up and can't find this, I have like 7 of these. Everyone thinks I always wear the
Damn.
same one.
One for every
I
day
do
of the week,
usually
or what?
no, I do usually wear the same one for an extended period of time until like
Uh-huh.
it actually starts to like be gross, and then I'll wash it and then
Okay.
wear a different one.
Okay, so you do watch the beanies, confirmed. Okay,
Yes,
good to
I'm
know.
not. It was funny, dude. In London, I had like these two girls come up to me and they were like, "Do you wash the beanie?" And I'm like, "Of course." Like
You had
they're
to
like,
try and
"Are
do
you?"
the accent too.
They're like telling asking me if I'm dirty and stuff, and I'm like, "This like kind of offended actually, but
Yeah. What the
okay." And I just like walked away, like went and hung out with other people, and I was like, that was weird.
maybe they're into that though. Maybe you missed an opportunity. Like if you let the conversation continue and evolve, they would have been like, "No, we actually like the fact that you don't wash the pee." They
Nah,
got
I
some
have a
weird. No,
girlfriend.
I don't know where I'm
I
going.
have a girlfriend. I
Okay,
was
okay, okay.
instantly like, I'm out.
Respect. I respect that. I respect that. And apparently you're wearing some beanie attire as well on your shirt. You've got
Yeah, this is
what's on your shirt?
I don't know if my UGC shirt actually. It's this Beanie
Yeah, and
Bros.
here I am representing UGC, and I have no idea what Beanie Bros is. What is this?
That was when I actually took streaming serious. That was my sub, my subscriber names, subscriber uh,
Welcome to the
community.
Beanie Bros.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Yeah, yeah, it makes
That
sense.
was
You can
it.
have like beanie emotes. You know what? That
Very
actually,
funny.
that yeah, and that directly leads me into just the end of the interview here, man. Thank you so much. And how can we connect with you, like with Twitter, with Twitch? How can we get you streaming? Are you going to be ever streaming anymore? Where can we find you?
Streaming. I don't like to give any promises. It's one of those things that I'm very like come and go with. But my Twitch is twitch.tv/imikwen, like iPhone,
Okay.
imikwen. And then my Twitter is @Mikwen. Right here. I'm stupid. Stupid.
I don't know. My screen
Right there.
setup is weird. I got like a chat box on
Yeah.
the right side, and I can't even see the right side of you. But yeah,
That's
wherever
my
he's pointing,
Twitter.
right? Oh, it's right there. Yeah, at Mikwen, right
Yeah,
there.
that's my Twitter. So
Follow that, guys.
yeah, you can follow my Twitter, and I don't really tweet a lot anymore either. I'm actually pretty
You're not
pretty
selling
like
yourself very well, dude.
I keep to myself a lot nowadays. I'm a
Yeah.
pretty quiet, like I used to be very open and stuff, but I've kind of just calmed down. I think I just getting older type thing.
Okay, well, regardless of what
No.
you're doing, your gameplay speaks for itself, man. Honestly, right now,
Thank
you're one
you.
of the best players in the game. I hope to see more of what I saw last week on Refuge CTF, dude. That was insane. I want to see you pick up that sniper rifle. Thank you so much for joining me in this interview. Dude, it
Thanks for
went
having me.
past an hour, and I've enjoyed the entire time. I feel like I could still be
It
talking
was
to you. So
fun.
hopefully we get to continue to
Yeah.
connect, man. And good luck at
Yeah, you too.
Atlanta. Thanks for
Thank you.
coming on.
No problem.
All right, guys, we're going to be right back. We have a quick break, and I know we're going on for the long haul here. Get your food, get your popcorn, whatever you got, and come back. And we're going to be talking with Callous. We're talking about macro analysis with the Macro Mastermind. Like I said, guys, we are back with HCS Weekly, and right now we have the macro mastermind of competitive Halo. Guys, he's been on the grind with film analysis for a very long time, reached out to me after my YouTube channel, and honestly, he's one of the most knowledgeable macro analysts in competitive Halo right now. You guys, this is going to be a great discussion. Very excited to have Callous on right now, and he's the new coach of the PBL Pirates, which we'll talk about as well. Welcome, Callous, to the stream. How's it going, man?
What's up?
Hey. Hey, let's get you move it. Try to move the camera down just a tiny bit so we can see, like, because you're really low right now. Or can you move it? Can you adjust it? There we go. Yeah, perfect, dude.
I don't know. There you go.
You're good. How's it going, man?
What's going on?
Just coming off work?
Yeah, I didn't know when you'd need me on, so I just kind of, I ran home from work and I just had my work shirt on still.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, no, I kept you waiting. But let's get right into it, man, because I know you've been with Halo for a very long time. Not just analyzing film, but you played Halo. You know, I think you tried to compete at one point too. So tell me about that. How did you first get into Halo? Do you have any background competing?
Yeah, I've been competing my whole life, man. It's been a crazy on and off, after Halo 3. But for me, it all started. I didn't have an Xbox at first, so I had to beg to go to my cousin's house, and they had an Xbox. And so I played campaign over there with them, and I was just like, I love this game. And then I would go over there and land with them and get my ass just handed to me by my cousins and all their friends. And that kind of sparked the competitive fire in me, throughout Halo 1. And I was grinding it a lot. And I didn't know about MLG until Halo 2, actually. But, I went to WCG, like a local 1v1 qualifier, and then top 2 advance to regionals, and then top 2 go to wherever the finals were. And I got 7th. But there was 100 people in the Vegas one. That blew my mind. I was a kid, and I was like, man, so these 6 people are better than me. Okay, they live here in this city. So that's kind of how it started. And MLG, I found out about it. I had to miss the first. They had 3 events in 05 that were near me because I'm in Vegas. They had a Vegas event and then 2, I think, an Anaheim and LA event, so 2 Cali events. And I missed them. I was out of the country. I was in Cuba, visiting family. And it was 06. I came back, and all right, boom, hit the grind, went to Anaheim in 06.
Yeah.
And never looked back. I just been competing ever since.
Yeah.
I don't know. I took a break after Halo 3. I graduated high school. I'm old, man. I'm 28. So that was it's Halo 3 came out, and I was finishing high school, and then I went to college, and I took a 6-year, I slowed down. I just kind of competed one event, came back for H2A, and I don't know. The Halo history is long, but I never became pro, that was the goal always.
Yeah, but you've always been there though too, which is interesting because I remember we talk a lot about this too. You knew about Carnage back in Halo 2. You've seen these guys, the best players on their rise from the very beginning of competitive Halo. I gotta say, man, I envy all you guys from the US who experienced the birth of competitive Halo, because I feel in Canada we didn't get that at all. It wasn't around us, it wasn't next door. But I think as a kid experiencing like you said, 100 other players playing Halo, that's got to be inspiring. That's got to make you want to get an Xbox and play more. So even if you're not at the top of the competitive ladder, just experiencing that growth of the scene and being there with it, I think that's an amazing thing. And it's what led you to get to where you are now, right? So, and you don't just play now. So now you said you took kind of a break off of, not break, but you kind of stepped away from the playing side of things a little bit. And now you're doing something called match analysis. And you do a lot of this. You do it for so many people too, which I think is amazing. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But what is it about film analysis? No problem, dude. What is it about film analysis that is exciting for you? And try to what is film analysis exactly? How does it work? Why is it exciting? Because most people don't like this. This is the grind that people try to avoid. So tell me a bit about it. Why is it exciting for you? And yeah.
Okay, it wasn't exciting for me. It was pulling teeth at first, man.
What is it too? Tell me a bit about how it works. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So for me, there's people watch VOD a lot, right? You can watch the first person, and you learn a lot of the micro, and that's so important. You have to be a beast at Halo. You got to be individually on point and know what you're doing and how to shoot. But then there's the macro side of things where you go into and you watch the theater and you watch it in third person and you rewind it and you watch it from everyone's perspective and see what's going on.
Right.
And that's what is tedious because it's boring. You're not watching gun skill and crazy no scopes. You're watching movement and positioning and setting up and being aggressive and rotating, or not being aggressive, being passive aggressive, setting up a bait, doing these push and pulls. And I gotta thank Thurlian for that. In H2A, I came back, I heard, oh my gosh, they're gonna remake MCC's coming out, they're gonna remake Halo 2, and that was my game. That's the game that was my bread and butter. I loved Halo 2.
Mhm.
So then, I came into H2A and competed, and once all the tournaments ended, Thurlian was like, hey, let me teach you how to watch film. And he's this crazy smart Halo player, and he, I don't even know. He just showed me how to look at theater. Basically, I competed in Halo 2 and I was like a top 32 kid, which it was like, back then maybe it meant more than now, because back then it was like 200 teams per event. So I was a top 32 kid, and then I met Thurlian in H2A, and this guy never played Halo 2. He was a Halo 3 kid, but he was teaching me things I never thought about as far as positioning and how to set up and perpetuate a spawn trap, or how to collapse on a team. And I'm just like, where were you in Halo 2 Classic? And he showed me through film. And so that's what kind of got the wheels turning. And that's how I learned to improve a lot faster. Is, okay, you don't have to grind 10 hours a day. You can watch a film for 1 hour and extract 10 times more information from just that one film. And so that's how it started for me. I didn't like it at first. It was just like everyone else. It was boring. We'd sit there for 2 hours, and I'm sitting there scratching my head like, all right, Thurley, and Abe, why are we doing this? Why is this taking so long? This game was 11 minutes long. Why are we here for 2 hours freaking, watching this? And
guys, this is real. Callous will spend like 2, 3, 4 hours looking at a game and break down every little thing about the macro gameplay, the decision making, the team when they're setting up. There's so much to it. Sorry, I cut you off there, but
oh, you're good, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what it is for me, is kind of analyzing the micro and the macro, right? The big picture, because I think you just can't see it all. And stats, a lot of players go off of stats, and they'll judge off of that. Stats don't lie, but they don't tell the whole truth. So you got to go into theater and check it out.
Right. It's interesting though, because it kind of like directly contradicts how people like to play Halo typically, because Halo's got this weird balance of teamwork and individual skill, right? The way that Halo works, it's not like League of Legends where everybody has a champion and they're designated to a specific role and there's direct counters to your role. Instead, if you are playing like a god in Halo, you can slay the entire team. If you can hit that peak level of individual skill, it doesn't matter about the macro strategy and positioning. In some circumstances, that execution can destroy everybody, right? So it creates this clash where people think they don't have to study, they don't have to be aware of that stuff, they can just focus on individual skill. But in the end of the day, what you're saying is, if you actually take the time to go to film and focus on these macro elements, you can learn so much and you could build so much about your competitive game. You could advance your skills so quickly. I think so many people are missing that's one of the big reasons why I wanted to highlight what you do as well. So yeah, man. So
I agree.
Now
it's the whole don't miss, don't lose mentality, right? Like, look at the Mikwen clips you guys played. That guy wasn't missing and they didn't lose. They were just on point.
Yeah, that's Mikwen's literal mentality. Yeah, he literally, like, we actually had a conversation before the interview, and he was talking with Renegades, like it was before their final match with Tox or something like that. And he's like, guys, honestly, just don't miss your shots. Like just hit your shots and we'll win. That's it. Like, it's crazy that mindset actually carries over into the top level of play. But then we have players, individuals like yourself who are studying this and recognizing that these teams are actually following specific patterns and that there are differences between the top teams and the lower teams. And I want to talk about that as well, like what Splice is doing that's different, that's allowing them to win, right? So fast forward now you actually have accomplished something pretty amazing. You're coaching the PBL Pirates. Now, PBL Pirates as a roster, like a team, they're not well known, of course, but guys, check out this roster. This is actually a pretty amazing roster that Callous is going to be working with. We've got Commonly, we got Straight Six, we got Soul Snipe, and Druck 84. These are all individually very talented players. There's a lot of potential. How did this opportunity come about exactly?
Don't really know. I actually didn't know. I didn't really believe it was even real when Commonly, I DM'd him. I got on Twitter and I saw a few of the members. I don't know if it was Commonly and Mikey or Soul Sniper tweeting out, hey, who's already going to be at ATL? We need a coach. And I saw other people responding, and I was like, man, I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to knock on their door and just DM them. And I DM'd like 2 of them or 3 of them, and just really being annoying, but it worked. I don't know. Commonly was like, yeah, we'd love to have you. And I didn't believe him at first. And I don't know. Here I am, just DMing them and just asking them. I told them, hey, if you want a serious analyst, I'll go all in. I'll buy my plane ticket tonight if you guys want it. Like, if you want someone who's going to look at all your games, all your, review all your 2Ks, look at your immediate competition starts, like middle game rotations, end game strats, hit me up. I'm down. And so huge shout out to, to Blackbeard and the Pirates. Like, I can't be more excited than I am right now. It's crazy. Been waiting for something like this for so long. Like, it's been my dream to find 4 really individually talented people that I can just work with, right? Because I can't play. Like, I broke my hand on my wrist 5 months ago, and I stopped competing a year ago, and so now it's just like I still want to compete and be involved, but I need to find a team that's talented but also wants to grow and wants to like watch film. And they said they were down, so
you've got that platform. So the next step is what are you going to do with these guys, right? Because so I know this announcement's brand new, so you haven't really had an opportunity to work with them yet. But I know you watched their 2K gameplay last weekend. So what do you think these guys bring to the table so far on an individual level? Do they how do they show potential from what you recognize of their individual gameplay? And off of what you've seen on last weekend's 2K.
So far, I'm really impressed with just how vicious these guys are. And we know they are. I mean, maybe people might not know about Druck and Soul Snipe, but when I was competing in H5, I saw Soul Snipe at the events, and he was always placing, doing good, like in the top 12, top 10, and then Druck, this guy's always getting to the FFA finals, and he's individually talented. But I've been impressed with. So Druck seems to be vicious and fearless with OBJ. Like, this guy will just do counterintuitive things, fly off a ring 3 and jump into your rocks on refuge and pull the flag when it's there and it's about to reset, just because he doesn't give a shit. He's gonna soar and grab it. And then Soul Snipe seems to be very talented, but also will set up longer plays that will work out in the long term, not something that's okay, it's going to be instantly gratifying right now. And then we already know Straight Sick, he's been tearing it up in Halo for years. I've been a huge fan for a long time. Crazy with the sniper. He'll be down in shots and he'll turn around and just reversal you, and it blows my mind. And commonly we've seen him, same thing. He catch fire with the snipe, catch fire with the weapons, and he's going to fly around the map. Commonly flies, right? And super vicious team. So I'm hoping that we can kind of mesh well and prepare on the macro, like the strategy side of things before Atlanta. And that's what I hope to do. I hope to just aid. They don't need a coach. They don't need me. I'm just trying to be the secret sauce in the background to give something that they can do, because I believe in these guys. They're super talented.
Right. So do you have any kind of strategy? What's the ideal scenario over the next few weeks? You want to meet with them regularly? What would that look like?
So we got busy schedules. I want to get together at least once a week, for film. But I can't be naive enough to think that we're gonna, all 5 of us, find a way to coincide our schedules and get together multiple times a week. So for now, here, let me pull this up. You guys better not pause this. You won't be able to read it anyways. But I'm just oh, it's not gonna show. It's not right.
So I can't even see it on my side of the screen.
Can't even see.
What are you trying to show?
It's not. Is it gonna show?
Oh, it's way.
I've been writing notes.
Way too right. Right. No, I saw it. You sent me an email too. Yeah. So Callous at the moment, just even before you're working with the sessions right now, you've compiled a whole series of notes on what you noticed about the team and the enemy team, the opposing teams they've been playing against, and strategies and whatnot, which I think is pretty crazy. And it also makes me realize, so you've been following Halo closely for a long time. This is a long question I got here. And it's evolved for a while, right? And of course there was a lot of hatred towards Halo 5. People seem to have this idea that with the abilities in the game is kind of snowbally. It doesn't really work for competitive play. What do you think of this idea that people have been, challenging with Halo 5? Do you think Halo 5 works? Is it too snowbally? What do you have to say about that?
It's definitely different. I'll tell you that, right? I mean, when Halo 5 came out, it was just, what is this? It was culture shock. It didn't feel like Halo at all for the first year. But I think once they got rid of the weapon pickups on the map, the autos, and then the splinter nades, and they nerfed the radar. It's still kind of weird having radar in Halo because it's never had radar competitive. But I think that made it seem more like Halo to me. And I see where people are coming from, that it's very different. But to me, I hold the opinion that it's conceptually similar to classic Halo. the split after Halo 3, when you get Reach, they introduce Bloom and they introduce Sprint. And then Halo 4,
Right.
Sprint. And then H2A, brief classic Halo, right? And then back to sprinting. And now
Right.
Halo 5 is, everyone's Super Saiyan in Halo 5, running around the map, dynamic. To me, the biggest difference is just speed. In classic Halo, it was more setup based, and the rotations were more calculated, and now it's like hyper aggression. But the concepts are still the same. It's still, you got to set up, you got to know, are you doing a 3-1? Are you doing a 2-1-1? Are you doing a 4-man push? Are you doing a 2-2 push? Are you setting up a spawn trap where they're gonna spawn, on Plaza on Loop because you have gold, blue, and Nest. They're gonna be Loop, or you're gonna create a split spawn and like leave blue open and have half of them spawn like Loop and blue. Like, what do you want to do? You did that in classic Halos too. It's just now you got your Nikes on and you can fly across the map and be there like in half the time, but it's the same Halo to me now. I would like to see some changes, like get rid of the radar completely. Keep your teammates on it if anything, but get rid of it. Get rid of the weapon.
Yeah, even though
timers.
because it's like an ability tracker now. It's not even, they don't even call it like a radar, right? Because
right.
It would be tough. You can hear it all, but imagine how fast the gameplay would be like if you didn't have that indication that there was a player like flying across with ability beside you. That is an interesting perspective too.
I know the community tried it for a while. They tried no radar, and I felt lost. I had a lot of fun, but I felt lost. Like not knowing where your teammates are. You don't know where they are because the game is multi-tiered more than other Halos, I think, and the maps are busier. So in classic Halos, you really needed to rely on the communication, and like when you spawn, tell them, "Hey, I spawned here. I'm behind you. I'm pushing this way." Now you got the little blue dots and the blue rectangles on your radar, like, and if you know the meta, you can piece it together, and okay, my teammate spawned over here, so that means the enemy's probably over there, and you need less of that. Get rid of the radar, and we're going to see a whole mess of awareness, though.
We might, right? Because I think that's one of the biggest things too. Is it's not even just the radar to track opponents; the radar tracks where your teammates are, and I think your awareness of where your teammates are is so much more. It's almost like more important than it's ever been, right? So understanding the lane that they're going down and making sure that you're not, collapsing in the same area, you're staying expanded, which is something I want to touch on as well. And it's kind of totally evolved in that regard, and the radar kind of helps keep things on track. So it would be interesting. I wonder if that would add some sort of a confusion, or if like they would, it would prioritize individual skill even more so. But so one thing is that you've also studied Splice a bit as well, right? And we know that Splice, so right now they did get beat by Tox recently, but Splice has been incredibly dominant in Halo at some points. Like so dominant, they have run over Tox completely. They've run over other like pro teams as if it wasn't really even a challenge. Like 4-0, 8-0, it's been unbelievable. What is Splice doing that's different? Is there something that Splice is doing that's different than other pro teams, or is it literally that they're just that individually talented? I feel like it's got to be a combination of both. What do you think?
I agree. I think it is a combination of both. Like, so if we backtrack, we saw before Splice, right? We know it was like CLG and then Optic and then Tox, right? The Tox squad just dominated all of Halo 5. And I think those guys have a foundation of classic Halo. I know like Snakebite was competing and already, placing in the money and reach, and all these guys have this rich background. So I think they just figured out that you need to be aggressive in this game, maybe faster than the other teams. And then Frosty pushing the envelope, like Mikwen was saying at first, being that guy doing all the crazy things that he was doing, that we watched Frosty do. I think that kept them on top, the hyper aggression, but also having that foundation of not just the skill, but knowing how to stay expanded on the maps and work together. Splice comes in, and I think these guys, I think we all know that they're faster. Right. And that's why we saw Tox kind of come back at the last tournament. They started just sprinting more and getting more in the face and playing more, intuitive Halo to match that speed. So, but besides the speed and the incredible individual talent that they all have, I think the biggest difference between those two teams, in my opinion, is that Splice has a better grasp of spacing on the map. I see them expand more. Like we take Coliseum, for example. You have the 4 lanes, maybe Tox will do like a 3-1 and they'll send 3 guys snipe, 1 guy rockets or something, which is so totally high meta, it's great. But then Splice might do a 1-1-1-1. Well, they have 1 guy top rockets, 1 guy like playing like maybe 2 guys on snipe, 1 guy's on the pyramid, the other guy's like on the mazes playing like a high-low. And then the 4th guy is literally playing courtyard to courtyard. You know, like we see Eco do it all the time. He does shit's given. It's like he'll spawn and he'll see, oh, I have Stellar,
Run through courtyard
my other two guys. Fuck it. I'm just right through the middle. I'm a tank. And that gives you so much more visibility because now Tox can't they can't just go window. They can't just take any middle routes. They have to respect that middle lane that's being played already. Or that's that's the macro differences. A 3-1 versus like a 1-1-1-1 or even a 2-2, 2 rockets, 2 snipe side. You get it's pros and cons on both. And that, to me, that's in a nutshell, that's all it is. Because both teams are individually crazy talented. You know, if you put FFA and they're all just going to be, oh shit, you know, it's not going to like someone's going to get destroyed. They're all going to be really vicious.
I wonder, like, I don't feel like maybe they do actively take time studying it, but they just don't seem like the team that takes time actively studying that macro thing. They just must have this innate understanding of that spacing. Like you're saying, it's just other teams will prioritize 3-1 situations, and you know that can work out. But with Splice, they're just so individually talented. They decide to completely space themselves, you know, perfectly with that 1-1-1 style, or even the 2-2 style that you were saying, like the duos, and it seems to work out in that way. So that whole expanded nature of play seems to be evolving and like pushing the meta in Halo, right? Because I think this is like the last year maybe that we've finally seen this kind of style of play where everybody's taking that individual lane of aggression. And I think it's forcing other players or other teams to learn and adapt as well, which is nuts.
Right. Yeah, it's been crazy just watching what Splice has done and then watching Tox retaliate. It's like the last tournament was so exciting to watch that. It's crazy. I wish I could like download the films and analyze that, but we can't.
That's the worst thing too.
On LAN.
Yeah, as a film analyst, you can't. So yeah, how does that even work? How do you get access? Let's say I'm somebody who wants to study film right now and I want to look at the top pro teams and their gameplays. How do I get access to these gameplays? How can I look at film myself and actually like gain something from this?
So I just use Halo Waypoint. Just make an account, sign in, link your gamer tag to the Halo Waypoint account, and be a stalker. Find out the gamer tags of who you want to see, and go on Twitter, find out, oh, who's scrimming who, or just watch the 2K and say, oh, these two teams played each other. I want to watch that. And then find that gamer tag on HaloWaypoint.com, sign in, bookmark that. Just go down and bookmark all that shit. Be greedy and just get everything. That's all free information for you guys to go out there and just download and have it there on your Xbox.
Treat it like school. This is studying right here. Eh? This is like reading your books in between. This is real. And that's actually like the difference maker for some things. So that's interesting.
I think everyone learns differently. Like Mikwen was saying how he learns more from like trial and error, right? Grinding, and then you get shit on and you're like, okay, what happened? Okay, I shouldn't do this anymore. I shouldn't go here.
You need to do that.
Yeah, you need to do that for sure. And then I think it's like you just need both though. You need to find a balance to have the theater to help you out to see. I think when you see things in a third person perspective, it changes it from Halo being an FPS, because it's a first person shooter. But if you get rid of that mindset and you pull yourself out of that FPS mindset and you just watch a third person, now you start seeing patterns unfolding from the bigger picture. Like, oh, I've seen this pattern over and over again. Every time I make this push, it doesn't work out, or I create a split spawn. Why? So you watch a third person, you see why. See how you're affecting your spawns or not affecting them the right way, or pulling your team spawns towards you, and you don't want your team to spawn here in this situation.
Yeah. There are actually some crazy spawns in this game, right? I know you have pretty like hyper awareness of some of the spawns, like even on Truth, right? There are some crazy spawns in the bases. What's that all about?
Yeah, so they've kind of sectioned off, I think, the tiers on the bases where, even if you're in the base pulling the flag, someone could spawn right behind you in the nades if you're further up towards like the 90% of that window entrance, or even if you're in the car attic, they'll spawn behind you. And I think for years people were just calling BS on that, like, oh, Halo 5 is bullshit. What is this? This would never happen in classic Halo. But it's like, well, it's not bullshit if that's how it's meant to be. So then use it to your advantage. Go on the car attic to make them spawn. You talked about that. I think Shotzi did that in one of your previous videos, where he did that on purpose, and someone spawned basement, or they can spawn basement and not behind you, and you're not going to know. But if you're in the flag, you push the spawns further towards like car typically, unless you're putting pressure there, and you might spawn in the basement, or you might get that weird. I've seen people spawn almost in P2, and it's like, how does that happen? It's because you have a guy in the enemy, like you're in the basement of the enemy team, so they can't spawn basement. You're pulling the flag, so they can't spawn there, and then you're throwing nades, and just it's Armageddon on car side. So Halo 5 is like, all right, we're gonna throw you in P2, bro. Sorry, and it's It makes sense though.
Yeah.
It's the only safe spawn.
That's so interesting. So like having that innate awareness of all the spawn points and where players can end up, you as a team can start to manipulate that and then kind of, like have the game in the palm of your hand, so to speak. Now it moves very fast paced and it's hard to stay in control of all those situations. But I think in like certain scenarios like that make or break scenario that you're able to force that spawn in a location and your whole team is aware of that fact and they can pounce and collapse and make sure they get that slay, that rotation. That's a flag cap. You know what I mean? That's a game changing point right there. There's another crazy spawn that I actually hate. You know about it too. On Coliseum. What's that Coliseum spawn on the bottom of Sniper Ramp? I want you to explain it. So.
Oh, on the sneaky steps, like where you can clamber up and go pyramid or whatever, like spawn right there behind people. Yeah, it happens on elbow too. I remember playing Bo Mex's team a year ago, and this guy would freaking got that spawn on me and would backsmack me. Like I'd get like a crazy double or triple. Oh, let's go, and then backsmack. What the fuck? Why is that happening? I feel like
there's
What's up?
No, I was just saying there's a ridiculous spawn. It's so guys, if you're on the end of the snipe ramps, like on either red or blue side, and you're standing, I'm thinking about red side right now, and you're hiding behind the rocks with the sniper, like beside oven, let's say, players can still spawn in the red cave directly beside you if other spawn points are being blocked. Like if somebody's tossing nades in red elbow or back of red base, you could have a player spawn literally right beside you on red cave while you're behind that rock on the bottom of red sniper ramp. And that it feels broken. It makes sense according to the system when you see it happen in theater, but it's like it's ridiculous.
It doesn't make sense if you don't go in theater, though.
It does exactly. If you don't go in theater, you don't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel like the 343 probably they created like a safety net. Okay, when all shit goes bad and you're playing a super aggressive team and all four of them hold forward in your base and block everything, you have to have some sort of perimeter spawn that'll happen. So I think it happens on the cave and it happens on the elbow. You get the triple spawn points on the elbow. You could be like on the back elbow, on the top end of it, and they'll spawn right in front of you, like underneath, where you could spawn trap them there and
below
you've seen Frosty do it. Yeah, and it happens on cave. On truth, it happens on the bubbles. So you always want to be on the more of the car side, top end of the car bubbles if you're playing that, because if you're in the bubble, you might not see the front courtyard spawns, the car one, those areas or the front base spawns near the car side. You won't see it if you're there. And so it's not BS if you study and know that. Just go back, play more on the car 2 side of bubble, and you'll see them all. They're going to spawn in the bubble in front of you or underneath you, and it's easy pickings because their back is turned to you. Just don't choke.
Right. Yeah. Understand where to position yourself, where to be looking, right? Because even the direction you're looking affects spawns, whether you're throwing nades or shooting in that location affects spawns. So like, I think, your hyper awareness for those types of situations can allow you to really manipulate the game in a way. And I think that's interesting and important. And that's something that you would not know unless you're studying that film, right? So how can we get more people studying the film, Callous? Tell me a little bit about what you would like to, I know you're so busy now, but what do you offer for the community in terms of like film analysis? If I'm a player that's looking to get better, how can I come to you or where should I go? I also wanted to give a shout out to SVP. Can you talk a little bit about SVP as well? The Discord?
Yeah. So SVP is the Spartan V program. Sorry. I went to one of the Microsoft tournaments here in Vegas, and I met this guy named Gary, and I think his gamer tag is Yu-Gi-Oh Tools. So shout out to him. He told me he runs this program for Halo players who are trying to basically improve, right? But at the team aspect, like the esports aspect of it. And so they have this amazing community of tight-knit players who they're all over the world. There's people in Europe, a lot of people here, some people in Canada, and we just help each other grow, right? And no matter where you are, if you're like a plat or a silver, that's what they're all about. And that's, when I heard that, I wanted to get involved immediately because that's kind of what I want to do with film. When I stopped competing last year and, my team just kind of fell apart, I still wanted to help the community, but I didn't want to, I wasn't competing. So I had the idea, screw it. Let me just do film sessions. This is what I like to do. And I felt like what you said, people are neglecting that side because it's boring. It's a boring grind. So I just started giving out film sessions. And so if you want one, just hit me up on DM, just hit me up on Twitter, or on Xbox Live. If I'll read the messages and send me a recent loss with your team. If you don't have a team, go play with 3 friends. Just get me a match where you had everyone using their microphones. Everyone was trying to win, and you still shut the bed and lost. That's all. That's the only requirement. Send me that,
Yeah.
and I would love to get in there with you guys and just review the gameplay, for 30 minutes or an hour, and that's usually as long as I go now because I used to go longer. But
Yeah, man, you got only so much time in the day.
yeah, it's crazy. I don't know if that answers your question. I kind of forgot. Like
No,
the overall
it definitely does.
two
I
questions.
think. No, yeah, I know. I do that a lot. My bad. I asked too many questions at once. But I think that's so important. Like, and I'm so thankful for that. Like, so much respect that you would actually go out of your way to help. Literally, guys, like, it's so easy to get involved in that. Like, just if you have a gameplay with 3 other players and you want Callous to take a look at your match, like, he can do that for you. And you can actually, this is especially important, I think, for players who are at a plateau. Like, you feel like you're not really improving. You've hit this kind of cap in your skill. And if you want to change things up, you want to improve, I think looking at film with Callous is actually a really good way to do that. He knows his stuff. He has some really good sessions. He streams them on Mixer. We'll see what we can do about getting you streaming and having some more live sessions where people are actually like communicating. Because I think the best thing to do with stuff like this would be to have more of like a larger conversation and have more people involved in understanding the game from a macro perspective. And then as far as SVP goes, guys, it's called the Spartan V program. It's a Discord that you can join. I'm not 100% sure on how the joining process works, and I don't even know how to properly shout them out right now. But what we will do, I'll probably tweet it out or something. I have to message Gary and see what he's okay with, because I know that they have a bit, like, they want to make sure they have the right people in the program who have the right mindset that want to improve. But this is it's a great way for you to get involved with the community that is all looking to improve, and they're all working, towards a positive goal. And I think everybody has a good positive mindset, and they're enjoying the game as a result. If you feel kind of alone in that process and you want to improve, you have that kind of mindset, then you might be the right person for that. And I'll be there, and Callous is there as well. So it's a good way to connect with both of us. And yeah, that kind of brings us to the closure here, where how can we connect with you, Callous? How can we find you? Twitter's the best place? Where do we go?
Yeah, Twitter's probably the best place. If you guys want free content, there's still I gave me and Thurlian and Old School Skills gave a try for YouTube, and there's some free content there, Breaking the Meta, or youtube.com/breaking the meta. We're working on it right now.
Breaking the Meta Halo, or is it just Breaking the Meta? Is it
Breaking the Meta Halo? Look at that. See, yeah.
How do I know better than you know? Come on, dude.
You know better than I do, man.
Got a YouTube channel.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just old, it's just content that we're trying to put out. We're trying to review, top AMs and pro gameplay. But right now we're just not happy with, we want the video quality to reflect the value of the content, which I think is what you're doing so good for the community. I'm so happy that you exist, that you're here for the Halo community, and you love Halo, and you're fearless. You're not afraid to champion the shit out of this game when everyone's not liking it. And so we're going to try to follow suit with what you're doing, man, and try to put out good, positive content. We're just on a hiatus. But yeah, Twitter, Callous, it's down below, CALLOU, and the 4 S's. That's where you can reach me, guys. I don't know.
Man. Definitely, guys. Yeah, no, reach out to Callous, man. Thank you so much, dude. I have so much respect for what you do for the community, and I'm so happy that you are coaching this team. And I'm going to be looking out for this roster. I hope that they kill it at Atlanta, and I'm excited about the fact that you're going to Atlanta. Guys, I still don't even know if I'm going to Atlanta. I hope I can go to Atlanta. I'm bugging Tony, and I'm bugging the guys at UGC to see if there's a way that they can get me to go over there, but I would love to be there as well. I've got big hopes for the PBL Pirates, dude. Thank you so much for joining me today on the stream on HCS Weekly.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in once again. This was honestly, I think, I don't want to be that guy, but I think this is my favorite episode so far. We had so much content. We went well over an hour today. I feel comfortable. I feel, happy and engaged. That conversation with Mikwen was great. So hopefully we got a lot of good clips that we can put together so the world can see some of the conversations we've been having. And I think, despite the fact that Halo's going through some darker times, we talked about that a lot. I think that there's a lot of potential for the future of this franchise and for the potential for the future of Halo Infinite. And I think even the fact that Call of Duty is out and it's so popular, I think it sets a great precedent for console gaming and just letting that there's a possibility that with these Twitch streamers and everybody that's engaged in this community, a game can go from unknown to just massively popular in seconds. So I think if 343 can just hit their stride right and carry some momentum strong into the next Halo title, then I think we could have an amazing resurgence in Halo. I'm going to be there, and I hope it happens, guys. I hope you had a fun time on today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me on HCS Weekly. We'll see you again next time. Have a good night.